Mandira, how are you?
I'm fine, ma'am. How are you, ma'am?
I'm also fine. Okay, so today we will begin the poem, A Photograph. Please open your book, page number 11. A Photograph by Shirley Tolson. Okay, are you ready?
Yes, miss.
Okay. Now, see, this poem is written by Shirley Tolson. Her full name was Catherine Shirley Tolson, and she was an English poet, okay, and a writer, journalist. And this poem is a loving tribute to her mother. Okay, you will find that she finds an old photograph of her mother when her mother was 12 years of age. Then the photograph was clicked, and then she gets lost into the memories, and she finally she feels very sad. She describes her mother as a sweet and innocent person with a very sweet face, and the photograph was taken by her mother's uncle. And those were times when they used to go for beach holidays, and they were very special and happy moments. So those moments were clicked in a picture, and that is cherished by the writer or the poet. And but at last she tells that she feels very sad because her mother is no more, and she feels that she's not able to say anything just because of the grief, but she enjoys the old precious moments and the memories. Okay, so first I will be explaining the poem line by line, and then I will be discussing the literary devices or the poetic devices. Okay, please follow your book. The cardboard shows me how it was when the two girl cousins went paddling, each one holding one of my mother's hands, and she the big girl, some 12 years or so. Now see, in the very first line, in the opening line, the poet tells us that the cardboard, now see, the previous days the photo album was made with the cardboard. The photo was sticked inside a cardboard, and the frame was also of cardboard. So the picture is she's looking at the old picture of her mother, and where she describes that apart from her mother there are two girl cousins. Okay, and they went paddling, that means they went walking on the beach, and each one holding one of my mother's hands. So her mother is in the center, and both of them are holding her mother's hands. Okay, and her mother was taller and elder, and she was somewhat 12 years of age. Okay, so the first four lines describes the photograph and her mother when she was 12 years of age. Okay, clear?
Yes, miss.
Okay. All three stood still to smile through their hair at the uncle with the camera, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. So see how she tells us that all three of them, they stood, they gave a pose in front of the camera, and uncle was capturing the picture. And she tells, see, a sweet face, my mother's, that was before I was born. Please underline this line. So she describes how the picture was taken, and then she says that the her mother's face was very sweet when she was a child. She was just a 12 years old, and it was the time before the writer was born. Okay, when her mother was 12 years of age, and then the photograph was taken. And the sea, which appears to have changed less, washed their terribly transient feet. This is a very important line. Underline this line also. Washed their terribly transient feet. So she describes that the photograph was taken before she was born, and then she tells us, she tells the readers, the students, that she has not changed since the photograph was taken, but her mother had changed since the photograph had been taken. Okay, so here she describes this phrase terribly transient feet describes the temporary, the world is temporary, the temporary quality of this world, by telling that we all are mortals. Okay, we are bound to decay, we are subjected to decay, but the natural phenomena goes on, like the sea or the blooming of the trees or the plants. These goes on, these doesn't stop, but human beings are subjected to decay. So this has a deeper meaning, and here she wants to tell that when the photograph was clicked, that time, from that time, since now, when she is looking at the photograph, her mother has changed, but the sea remains unchanged. That is why she uses the phrase terribly transient feat. Transient here refers to temporary. Okay, so the first stanza, which is of these many lines, are clear.
Yes, miss. Totally clear.
Totally clear. Any questions?
No, miss. Up till not.
Okay, so then follow the next stanza. Now see, again, like we had seen in the portrait of a lady, that those three phases were described by the author about his relationship with his grandmother. Similarly, in this poem, the poet is describing in three phases her memories with her mother. Okay, so first phase was when she was 12 years old, the photograph was clicked by their uncle. Now, in the second phase, now she's saying some 20-30 years later, she would laugh at the snapshot. Now, she tells us that when the photo was clicked, her mother was 12 years of age, but 20-30 years have passed by, have gone by. And whenever that photograph was viewed by her mother, she used to laugh. Okay, she used to smile at that photograph. And she used to tell that, see Betty and Dolly, she would say, and look how they dressed us for the beach. So she would tell the poet that how their parents in those times dressed them up for the beach holiday. Okay, and she used to laugh at looking at the photograph, and she was very happy because, you know, when see, it is very natural, no, for human emotions. Whenever you see your old photograph, you remember the story behind it or some memories, and automatically a smile touches your lip. So similarly, when her mother, some 20-30 years later, used to have a look at the previous photograph, she used to feel very happy. She used to laugh, and then she used to tell incident related to that clicking of that photograph, that how they were dressed by their parents when they used to go for a beach holiday. Okay, the sea holiday was her past, mine is her laughter. So this line is also important. Now she says that the sea holiday was one of a very precious moment of her mother. And what is her precious memories? The smile and laughter of her mother is the poet's precious memory. See, mine is her laughter. The sea holiday was her past, when they used to go to sea holiday, enjoy, have memorable time. That was her mother's favorite. But poet's favorite is her mother's laughter and smile, full of innocence and captured very nicely. So she specifies that her favorite moment is seeing her mother's smile and laughter. Okay, both weary with the labored ease of loss. Now she tells us that both the moments, they can never bring back those moments, because both the moments where one was her mother's favorite, other was the poet's favorite, but that moment can only be enjoyed and felt, but they can never bring it back. That is why she has written labored ease. Now see, labored ease, there are two opposite words. There are two opposite words placed side by side, because labor cannot be done easily. Okay, labor is hard work and ease is something very easily or smoothly. So these are two contradictory words placed side by side, and this type of figure of speech is known as oxymoron. Okay, clear?
Okay.
So the first stanza, second stanza, clear, Mandira?
Yes, miss.
Okay, and now she tells us the third stage, the third phase, that she talks about present. Now she's been dead nearly as many years as that girl lived. So she wants to say that when the photograph was taken, that time her mother was 12 years of old, and now when she's looking at the photograph, her mother is no more, and it has been 12 years since her mother has died. Okay, she's no more, and that is the reason she's telling that 12 years, 12 number is common, because when the photograph was taken, her mother was 12 years of age, and now when she's looking at the photograph, 12 years have passed since her mother has died. and of this circumstance, there's nothing to say at all. And then finally, she tells us that there is nothing to talk about. Why? Because she is in grief. She is missing her mother, those sweet memories, the times spent with her mother. She is missing those memories. And then she tells us, underline this line, there's nothing to say at all. Finally, she says, I don't have anything else to say. Why? Because last line is also very important. It's silence silences. Now, its silence silences, silence here is death. So she says that no one can speak above death. Death speaks all. So finally, she ends the poem by saying, its silence silences. Now, silence silences is it is an alliteration because the consonant sound is being repeated. So this is the entire poem. Have you understood, Mandira?
Miss.
Any questions?
No, miss.
Okay. Now we will